All right. So, you know that I explained to you that I'm doing a theme for this month of May on the podcast, and it's about boss moms, hot mamas. And, I wanted to do a little twist to the first episode of this theme that I'm doing for this month with some guests that are coming on that are pretty boss moms. And I wanted to do it's not a game, but like a little interview to you. It's very, very short. Do you want to introduce yourself? Who are you?
My name is Marcus.
And who are you?
I'm your son.
Okay, you're my son. How old are you?
I'm 13 years old.
You're 13 years old. All right. So, I wrote down 3 questions to ask my son, just so you guys could get a little insight on what his opinion is about his boss mom. All right. So, question number 1. 3 words to describe your mama.
Three words will be funny, beautiful, and hard worker.
And a hard worker. Okay. And question number 2. You got to just get a little closer to the mic right here. Okay. What is one thing you do like about me?
Your personality.
My personality. Okay. Do you want to give a little bit of more detail on that?
Like how you're always so hopeful most of the time.
Okay.
Like you stay more on the positive side than the negative side.
I try. Because I could be very negative.
Pretty much like that.
Okay. All right. And it's a safe space. I ain't gonna smack him. What is one thing you do not like about me?
You are short-tempered.
Do you want to say that a little louder?
You are short-tempered.
I am short-tempered.
Yeah. You want the details?
I don't know if I want the details. Okay. I think everybody understands what short-tempered means. Okay. And the last question. What is one of the best lessons or any special lesson you could say now as a 13-year-old that you've learned from me?
One will be don't be greedy because life doesn't come easy.
Oh, you remember that? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And the other one will be don't knock it till you
try it. I always say that to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else? Or is that good?
That's good for me.
That's good. You're over it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you just trying to get back to playing with your PlayStation?
Kind of. I was in a match with my friend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. All right. All right. That's all. Welcome back, guys. Another week and another episode to Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast with your host, Miss D. And you are in for a ride with a very deep and intense episode about, I'll let you listen in. Enjoy. All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode here, Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast with your host, Miss D. And let me confess real quick, off the bat, I had a whole plan on how I was going to do this week's episode. And in good old-fashioned Ms. D, I decided, let me switch this shit up, right? I was so perplexed as to what I wanted to talk about, what I wanted to tackle. But we're still going to continue with this month's theme, of course. As you may have heard on episode 10, I did mention that for the month of May, I will be highlighting boss moms, hot mamas, because I myself am one. And I'm going to bring to this show for the month of May several of my very close friends who I consider fulfill those titles. And so here today, I have a very, very extremely special guest joining me for some real intense conversation. I'm going to say this is going to be intense because of the topics that I decided to last minute switch up and talk about. And special because we're gonna dish it out. But please, my guest, introduce yourself to my world here.
It's Shai. Well, it's Shantae, but I go by Shai, so I rather Shai.
All right, so we rather Shai, and so we're gonna go right into how Shai and I know each other. A little brief background to, 18 years of friendship.
Yeah.
18 years of friendship. Okay. I'm getting teary-eyed, guys. I'm like,
I
seriously, like, you see me, right?
soon as I saw you, that's exactly how I felt too. I feel like
I know. And you know what? This is not our proudest moment, but we're gonna put it out there. So Shantae and I, Shay, met when I was 16 years old. It was when we worked at a camp, a sleepaway
yes.
camp. That's how we met.
Hmm.
Um, Shay lives in Jersey. I live in New York. And so we met at the sleepaway camp. I'm not going to dish out the company name or the agency, but it is from that summer that we just clicked. We
It,
became,
it was instant.
yes, it was instant. We've been friends ever since. I think in all these years, guys, don't shoot us, don't kill us. We've seen each other, what, twice?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so sad to admit this because we've always kept in contact.
we did.
We've seen each other celebrate marriages. You saw me
Babies.
celebrate a divorce at one point. We've celebrated our children. I
Yes,
mean, we've always kept in contact. We've always had such a strong bond.
we did.
Um, we've always had this connection. We've been attacked by bats together.
We-
Um, I will never forget that. That was
Never, I
epic.
would never forget that.
That was
Anytime I
epic.
see bats, that's exactly what I think of. That's where I go to.
It was amazing that attack. It was awesome. But that summer was to remember. Definitely one of the best summers of my entire life.
And
Um,
at my age right now, I could honestly say yes, it was my
yeah,
best summer of my life. I still
yeah.
remember every part of it too.
Yes, yes, yes. And so that's how far back Shay and I go. That is how far back our friendship goes. And we just so happen to be boy moms.
Hmm.
My son is 13. Your boys are now at what age?
15 and 10.
Oh, 15 and 10. Okay.
Hmm.
I took a deep breath for that, guys, because I'm discovering, I'm learning that this is not easy. This has
That's
been
not.
a learning process, a learning
Hmm.
curve. I did not expect that certain questions would come up, certain topics would come up. I knew eventually they would. But me growing up, I was once a young girl. I was never a young boy for me to
Boy,
know what that looks like. And
especially
so,
at this time of their
yes,
life.
yes, yes, yes. And so that's where it's been a little bit of a challenge for me. It's been very interesting, but also it's been entertaining. And so we're going to dive right into, um, you know, how have we been doing during these quarantine days? How has life have been with your preteen and teen boy? How has life have been at home with the family, with your husband? How are we holding up?
It's overwhelming to say the least. I think I feel like I have more going on, even though I'm in the house and I'm not leaving. I
Okay,
just feel like I get a little break getting out of the house being a working mom
right.
and that social aspect with adults. Being home remind me when they were younger and
Mm,
they're very need you. I'm hungry. I need this on top of working from home.
mm,
And since you're home, you're like, okay, let's do the things that I'm supposed to do. Your Saturday thing. So it's laundry. It's nonstop laundry. I feel like I'm constantly cleaning. I'm cooking more than ever. So it just feels more. I'm doing more. I feel overwhelmed. I'm over
mhm.
it.
No, I
Um,
completely agree.
one thing. It's sad to say this part though. I love my husband to death. Don't get it twisted. Love him to death. But I'm kind of glad that he's working out. He's an essential worker, so
Okay.
he's out there all day. So he doesn't come home till about now, like 4ish, 5ish. So I
Okay.
get that break from him. It's not just dealing
Okay.
with the kids and him. That would be extra.
Absolutely.
So
No,
I
no.
definitely I get that break, and it's much needed.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Now, I'm glad you're bringing that up off the bat. Working mom, right? I remember you were at some point working from home, and so now you're also going into work. Am I correct?
No, I went in for a day just for some
Just for a
volunteer
day.
work, but I'm
Okay.
still that was I kind of begged my manager, can I please
For
go
that.
in? I
Got it.
needed a moment. I needed to get out.
Got it. Got it. No, I hear you. I actually went into the office again for the first time yesterday, and it was very stressful. It was busy, but it was nice to have fresh air. It was
Yes.
nice to be in just
Yes.
a little bit of a normal routine as it
Yeah.
once was.
Yes.
I'm also glad you're bringing up, like, yeah, they're older, but they're still needy,
They're
right?
very needy.
And are both your boys mama's boys? Because Marcus is a mama's boy.
Yes, they both are mama's
Okay, so
boys.
you see what we did? You see what we did,
Yeah,
guys? You
yeah.
know.
I'm like stubborn myself about it now. Like, man, I should have had them just do a little more.
Mhm. Mhm.
My 15-year-old seems to be more needy though than my 10.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's much needier.
Oh, okay. Her boys are absolutely beautiful. I've
Oh,
seen them since day one growing up. Like,
thank
it's
you.
just like, it's crazy how, we're able to see our milestones and everything of our lives
We
through.
definitely did see all of the milestones. Went
Yes.
through it all.
Yes, yes, and we've never lost that touch
No.
from each other. So we're clearly facing some challenges, and so we're definitely relating on that topic of even as working moms, even being moms at home. We're still women. We still need that break. We still need that time.
Yes.
Even in your case, from your husband, which her husband is amazing too, guys. She really does love him. They really love each other.
No, I really do. I
They really
really
do. They really do.
do.
They like each other. Y'all
Yeah,
know
we
I'm
like each
big
other.
on people liking each other before they even love each other. Like, I gotta like each other and always like each other no matter what.
Yes.
But I myself too, like, I've been stuck at home, working from home. I have been given the opportunity to go back to work yesterday in the actual office. I think I'm going to stick to that schedule where I'm just going to go in once a week,
Yeah.
because I do work in a hospital, so I do get very anxious.
Mhm.
And, my anxiety is there, with the thought that, things are not yet back to normal, quote unquote. So I have been keeping busy at home, challenging myself, obviously, with a whole podcast at home too.
Hey, that keeps you busy, huh?
And it's gonna continue even if one day we do go back to normal. This show is gonna keep rocking out. And my anxiety is still up in the air, because I decided to soul surge and join this R&B battle. And although I didn't make it to the championship, it's been fun going down memory lane, listening to a lot of the songs we listened to during that summer, because that
Yes.
was our life
And
then.
anytime I listen to any of them, it just takes me back. It's so
uh,
nostalgic. It just really literally takes you right back, and that's one of my favorite things.
yes, yes,
And you
it's
know I'm big on music. Music is
oh
everything
yes.
for me.
Yeah. So, fun fact, guys. Shay is who introduced me to Sade. Shay is
Yes.
who introduced me to jazz, to the legendary singer Sade. She introduced me to a lot of that good soul music, and so. I don't want her to get teary eyed, and maybe someday we'll go deeper into it. But she's actually the reason why Marcus got his name Marcus. Um,
Yeah.
and,
And when you told me that, I mean, that is that just explains where our
yes,
friendship is.
yes.
Even not physically being around each other, we just have that kindred spirit
Yes,
connection.
yes, yes. So I knew at that moment that was going to be, if I ever have a son, that's going to be his name. So I knew it. And I don't want to get her teary eyed and emotional because she will
No,
start
no,
crying.
no. With that one, I'm gonna take a sip of this
Yes,
drink.
girl. Drink
Cheers
it.
to Marcus.
Cheers to Marcus. I got my water, girl, because last night I got drunk. I joined on somebody else's live. They had another battle.
I haven't been drinking like that.
Oh,
I'm a smoker, so I
I
prefer
feel
to
you.
smoke.
Okay.
So I felt that it just appropriate to have a drink
Yes,
while I'm on
please,
this.
please,
Yeah.
please, absolutely. And even with that, like, I'm still finding the balance. I do smoke occasionally, but because I'm here with Marcus, I'm mostly geared towards edibles. So
Okay.
that is my peace and my zen. I always have my
Mhm.
wine. I've been discovering, and I mentioned this in previous episode, different methods of coping. But one of them is definitely starting up again this week. I actually just worked out earlier today. I'm back with my personal trainer. I'm
There
back.
you
I'm
go.
releasing again all this stress, all this anxiety through my personal training. I noticed I lost some of my thigh muscles,
Okay.
and I hurt my own feelings realizing that. I was trying to squat and hold that squat, and I was like, oh, I'm losing my squat game. So I need to fix this up. So I started back up with my personal trainer. So I'm very, very happy about that. And I know you've been taking care of your mind, body, soul, and spirit too. I've been seeing you share.
Trying.
Yes.
Trying.
Yes, yes, yes. And so I definitely wanted to have that foundation in this conversation, in this episode, because you are definitely a boss mom, hot mama that I absolutely admire and adore, because I see everything that you are and everything that you do, and I see you let us in, us who are your friends, into the world
Yes.
of how you choose to raise your boys.
Yes.
And it's something I respect and I admire, because you and I, we are different, but there's certain things that we are alike in. We are very upfront and very blunt with who we
Yes.
are. And so
Yes.
a lot of people don't always embrace that and appreciate that, when we figure out ways to apply that to our children. With that being said, I want to do the very important segue into my segment of As Raw as It Gets. And this segment is usually where we tackle things that I see on the news, controversies, culture shit, or even information that I come across on social media. And so on today's topic of As Raw as It Gets, we're going to talk about a very important question that has come up very, very, very recently, which is the cause of why I changed my entire agenda. Boosie is a dummy? Is he a dummy? Now, I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you've.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. And for any of my listeners who by now in the last how many hours are not aware of what has transpired and has happened, Boosie, the American rapper, is catching serious heat, according to complex.com, because he basically announced on social media that he decided to train his boys, his son, and basically hooked him up. His son was 12 and 13, both his sons, right? Is it two sons? I think it was two.
It's one son and a nephew.
Nephew. Okay, one son and a nephew, 12 and 13 years old, so very close or at the ages of our boys. And he basically hooked them up with grown. When we say grown, he said they were grown. It was a grown woman to give them head and make them men, because that is his
Yeah.
definition of what makes them men. This is what he has chosen to instill in his children. Now, I'm going to call his nephew his child too, because that's how I see my nephews.
Yeah.
My nephews are my babies. So there. I'm a little troubled with this. I'm troubled with it. And I definitely wanted to have this conversation with a boy mom, for one, and two, with a mom in general. Because I understand how us as parents, we want to be able to have that control to have certain conversations with our kids, especially when it comes to sex, right? However, I don't think that gives it a pass to what that is defined at that moment of what he did. And that to me is called rape.
Yes. Agree.
Okay. So we're in agreement of this.
We're in
Okay.
agreement on this.
I just don't know where we're supposed to draw the line. I don't know where someone like him, he seems to be smart. I mean, I don't know this man. I've never interacted with him. I think I've maybe heard one song, maybe, I think. But for me, it's just kind of like, what the fuck were you thinking? Whatever
Seriously.
made you think that if you wanted to teach your son or your nephew to become a man or to be a man, that not only was it okay to say, I mean, sure, go have oral sex, go get your dick sucked, but you decided to bring a grown ass woman, someone of legal age, and to perform this act on these kids because they're kids.
They're
And
definitely
so
children.
that means that was rape. Talk to me, Shai. What are your thoughts on this shit?
Okay, so I'm very open with my 15-year-olds. 10-year-old, not so much yet. 15-year-olds, very open. And I speak to him very candid about things, what to kind of expect. I try to give him insight as the woman. So I once was a teenage girl. So where he's at, kind of what to expect. But that's it. That's where the line is drawn. Who am I to make the decision of who he will sleep with or have any type of sexual encounter? That's beyond too much. The son was 12 years old, 13 years old. Was he able to say, hey, this is what I want?
Right.
The decision was made for him. And of course, since it was the father, he probably went along with it and stuff. But imagine how nervous he was. And that's not a decision that he made. There's no way.
Right. That's actually, I didn't even think of that. Now that you bring that up, it's like, did he really want that? Did he agree to it? Is he as a young man growing up to be a man, if we're teaching these young boys who we're raising certain principles, right? Shit about consent even, right?
Yes.
Because we
Oh
gotta
my God, I have that conversation
shit.
all the time because
Exactly.
I don't know if many people have these conversations with their sons. You
Right.
know, I think there's more conversations you have with their daughters, you
Mm-hmm.
know, trying to, but I don't think you tell, well, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have these conversations with other boy moms that
Mm-hmm.
they're open and letting their sons know no is no.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't care. I tell my son all that this is something I don't think it's something he'll do, but I just want to put it and repeat it in there
Mm-hmm.
that just because a woman is dressing sexy doesn't give you a right for anything unless she consents to it.
Right. Right.
If you're in the middle of doing something, let's say, whatever, you know, it's a 16-year-old, you're 16, everything's hot and heavy, you think she's ready, she thinks, and she says no at that last minute, it's no. You're
No.
out that door. I
Mm-hmm.
say, because if she said no, that's
Mm-hmm.
it. You don't want to be a bad memory for her
Mm-hmm.
when she
Mm-hmm.
looks back at something. And I said, and where that one girl, I'm pretty sure there's 3 other girls that are out there that are willing to do it with no problem, with consent.
Right. Right. Right.
I said,
So
I know it's difficult though to pull away sexually, especially at that hormonal age, but
mm,
no is no. And I definitely tell my boys that over and over again. So it should go for him as well, though.
right.
It should
Right.
go for the boys. Don't think the boys don't have these feelings as well.
Right, right. I have to. I didn't even think of it that way, but you're absolutely right. I would be interested to know, you know, did he talk to him first, or did he just tell him, "Come here, you're gonna become a man
You're a
today,"
man, yeah.
you know, and there's no choice here, right? Because like you said, that's his dad. So is
Yeah.
he gonna dare to say no to his dad? Like, was he forced into this? Like, I
That's my question. That's literally the first thing that came to mind with it was no, you're wrong as a father. You do not do
mhm,
that. Having the conversation, talking and being as candid as possible if you want to have that relationship
mhm,
where you're just you can explain it, you can do all of that storytelling. You just don't cross the line and actually do that. That
right,
your child has their own life and their own decisions.
right,
And that I don't I that's a question that I have. Did he consent to it? Did he want
right. Right, right. And you know what's funny too? It's like we grow up, we were once young girls and we still see it
we
today,
were?
right? We're so protective with the young girls, right?
Yeah, very.
You know, don't let a boy touch you like this, or don't let anybody touch you like this, or sit down a certain way, or if somebody makes you feel some type of way, you say something. But it's crazy how we don't always put that in perspective when it comes to our young
Boys.
boys. And
Mhm.
so we don't always hear a lot of stories where men feel comfortable to come forward and say, yeah, that shit happened to me when I was 12, 13, or 14 years old. We hear so many stories about how these girls are growing up too fast. We're letting our girls grow up too fast. I was one. I used to wear my lip liner and my lipstick, and I was young. I was
Mhm.
young. I was, but well, you remember,
Yes.
we were busty. Our
Very
bodies were
busty, young.
stunting.
Yes.
And so God forbid you wore a certain type of shirt or a certain type of skirt, and you looking too grown, or you look older than your age. But then aren't we forcing, in this case, isn't this father forcing his son to grow up way too fast?
Yeah,
You're
for
trying to give
sure.
him a lesson of being a man, but then you subjected him to a sexual harm. This was harm. This
It
was,
was
in a sense, what, like, not just rape, maybe even assault. I was very disturbed by it. I wanted to talk about it, and I'm glad you said that you're very open with your 15-year-old, because
very.
I'm now transitioning slowly and surely into more openness with my 13-year-old. And I started with baby steps, little by
You
little.
know what your child can take and what they can
Yeah.
retain the information. You learn how to do
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as you go.
And not everyone agrees with me on that. Not everybody agrees with my openness just with my life alone. Um, but it's kind of like, oh, do you really want to talk to him about that now? And I'm like, yeah, because I don't need him going on his phone. I don't need him asking his friends. I don't
Yeah.
need him going to other people to speak on other things or anything like that. I need him to know that he can talk to me. He can ask me. I'm going to give him the educational part. I'm going to tell him what's up. I'm not going to lie to him. I'm not going to mislead him. Um, and the reason why I'm so stuck on that, and I've shared that, and I remember you and I talked about this. I did it because everybody else was doing it. I didn't do it because I knew
Hmm.
facts. I didn't do it because I was educated on it. I simply did it
Yeah,
out of curiosity,
of
and
course.
I just don't want that to be my kid. Last week, I haven't said this out loud. It's my first time going to say it. He actually said that one of his friends said, "Oh my God, what if you were to become, a parent at 16 or 17?" And I am not sure what was going on with his friend or what has happened in like their family, but the topic came up.
Okay.
And so he tells me, and I said, "And what was your answer?" He goes, "Well, then I guess I'm becoming a parent at 16 or 17." And I was like, "Hold on a second. We have to have a conversation now."
Mhm.
While I think it's great that he's already have some form of thought process as to
And he's
where
going to take
that,
responsibility.
right, that he's on that concept. I needed him to understand that there's bigger picture here. I need him to understand ins and outs of how that tends to happen, how we get there, and how we can try and avoid from getting there. And
Mhm.
so at that point, it was just kind of like, all right, I could do this, but he's still a young man, and I'm gonna need a man to talk to him.
Mhm.
So I sent an SOS with an Amber Alert to his father. And I said, I need you to have a conversation with him. This is what's going on. This is what he asked. This is what was said. So you need to talk to him. And his father did. His father had the whole conversation with him.
That's good.
Went deep into it because his father actually has older kids. He
Mhm.
became a teenage dad at 17. So he was able to
Able.
put that into perspective to
Mhm.
our son. And I was very grateful for that, very thankful for that. Because it was at that moment that I realized, fuck, there's certain things I'm not going to be able to teach him. There's certain things I'm going to need his father for. And I did get stuck. I got a little
Okay.
stuck. Do you find that sometimes being your case and you tend to turn to your husband?
I don't know. My relationship with my son, he's very open with me.
Very
We
open.
have,
Okay.
yeah, we have a great, that he actually is more open with me than my
Then
husband.
look at that.
So I think because I had this line of communication with him very young, that
Okay.
I gave him the okay that he literally can come to me for whatever. I've gained that. Um, what is that? What's the word? Not respect. I gained his trust,
Trust. Okay.
where when he did confide in me in things or questions that he had, I didn't freak out.
Okay.
I kind of like just took a deep breath and was like, all right, we're here. So this is how we're gonna do. I literally, you have like 2.5 seconds to
Yes.
make a decision on which direction you're gonna go with this topic or question.
Mm-hmm.
Am I gonna keep it real,
Mm.
or am I gonna sugarcoat it? And with
Right.
him, because from very young, I just always felt this thing with him where he just understands things a little differently
Mm.
compared to other kids his age. And it's
Mm.
something that in school I've been told with teachers and stuff. Compared to my 10-year-old, I don't know when I'm gonna have conversations with him because he doesn't retain the information the same way. He doesn't
Got it.
understand. But my son literally comes to me for everything. Any question he has, I just don't freak out. It's funny because if we're in the car and we're driving, he'll hit me with it.
Oh
I'll
shit.
turn, I turn to the side for a second. I'm like, okay, we're here. This is how we're gonna approach it.
Oh
But
my
with it,
god.
I've always been able to make the decisions to just go straight to 100, keep it real. We
Okay.
have porn
Mm.
conversations,
Mm. Mm.
and I said it's a natural thing to be curious to want to see it. I said my age group, we didn't have the access to the porn that you guys
Right.
do.
Right.
Um, I did tell him you might come across some weird shit that you're not ready for, and that was my only real concern. I said you're not getting just a like vanilla man woman kissing boobs
Mm-hmm.
boom. No, you literally can find any type of fetish, and so those are the little worries that I have, and I've spoken to him about that. But with speaking to him, I've also had concern, did I open the door to the curiosity?
Got it. Okay, got it. Got
Because
it.
now it's like, did I open the door where in his mind he's saying, oh, what is out there?
Let me go see. Let
Let
me
me
go
go
find
see.
it.
So what I just try to keep it real with him in a sense that this is adults.
Mm.
You not gonna do that at 15, 16, 17 years old. You have to
Right.
work up to your sexuality
Right.
and know yourself and know a woman.
Yeah.
Um, you cannot do that. You do not expect that from a 16, 17-year-old girl either. They're
Right.
not porn stars. So
Mm.
don't go into whenever you do decide to have sex that it's gonna be a porn. because he's not.
Right. Right.
It's a
Right.
16-year-old girl or 17, whatever age. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think we've crossed that line yet where he has.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know. But I
Right.
felt that we have the openness that he would tell me if he did.
Right.
So that's I just always had it open with him where he's not that comfortable with my husband
Mm,
speaking to him. My
mm.
husband kind of his sense of humor comes in, and I think he makes my son feel awkward. He'll make a joke. He'll make a joke out of it or something cuz that's my husband.
Yeah.
That's just him. It really is. He doesn't mean no harm with it, but it does where my son, I think in the age that he's a little more fragile. So he
Okay.
needs to be he's needy. He needs to be
Mm-hmm.
coddled a little bit with even with information.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm learning that now. And just right now, it's like I'm taking notes from her. She's been a mom longer than I. And I
Not that
think
much longer.
but I think this is like it goes back to where our bond is and why we're friends the way we are. Because it's
Mhm.
like, you know, I don't have a manual. None of us do.
No.
And I don't know, like as comfortable as I am, like he knows, he's like, I know, mama, you keep it raw. That is owed to this fucking podcast. I do. But it's kind of like in that window of those 2.5 seconds, it was like
It's a 2.5 seconds.
I had to just be like, all right, we're gonna talk about this. It's kind of late right now,
Hmm.
but we'll talk about it. That's when I was like, let me talk to his dad. Let me see what his dad
Yeah.
says. And it's funny because his dad was actually freaking out more than I was. His dad was
Hmm.
like, D, I don't know. Like, isn't he too young to be asking this question? And I said, calm down. Like,
It's
we're
not
gonna
too young
have
though.
right. And that's when I really
I think you have to approach it before
right.
it's in play.
Yes, yes. And that's what I told his dad. I'm like, listen, you raised two boys by yourself. Okay. This one is slightly different because you're not used to constantly stepping in because he's been raised with me. But
Yes.
I need you. I need your expertise. I need you to not freak out just because it's coming from him.
Hmm.
I know, like he always says it. I know you got it, D. Yeah, but now
But I need you though.
need you. Like, so I need you to
I don't got this one, all right?
I need you to take the wheel. Just take the wheel and rock out with this. So it was a good experience for the both of us. And he still came back and he told me, all right, this is what I told him. This is what I explained. He felt more comfortable. And you know what? The topic of condoms came up. The topic
Hmm.
of porn came up.
Hmm.
And he came back and told me, he's like, Ma, I spoke to dad. And it was a great conversation. And it made me happy that,
That he
oh,
had that moment with him. So it
yes.
was needed. It was needed. It
Yes,
was
it
the
was needed.
time.
It was needed. He had a lot more questions. And so that's when I was
Okay.
like,
So he felt
okay,
comfortable.
yes, yes. And so it was definitely a moment for me. And I needed to put that out there because seeing the shit that Boosie did, it broke my heart.
It did. It broke
I
my
just
heart
felt
too.
like sometimes we don't think about certain things. I've mentioned this before in my previous episodes. I don't know if you remember because it was during the time when we met. I was 16 and my boyfriend at the time, I
Was
had met him when I was,
older.
yeah, you remember, you see,
Yes.
he was older, guys. I was
Was older.
14. I was 14 and he was 18.
But you acted grown.
I
You were
did.
mature for your age. You weren't
Yes.
like a just regular 16-year-old.
Yes, yes. And he very much so respected me 1000%. I was with him for 4.5 years,
Yeah.
until I went to college. And but I didn't think of it then by the obvious. 14 and 18, that's an
Hmm.
adult and I'm a kid, and I didn't think about it then. I didn't think about how serious that was. I didn't think about why my parents were so opposed to it. Why they gave me hell, why I got smacked a few times, why I got beatings a few times, because it was just not right. And
Yeah.
not to say that this he was a man, considered a man at 18, not that he did anything wrong to me, not that he was bad to me. It's the obvious, right? It's just not right. It's an adult. Um,
Now that you're older, you can see it,
Now I can
definitely.
see it. Now I understand it. And now having a child who's 13, I will fuck a bitch up who is 18 or older coming after my kid. Like
Yeah.
I would kill you. And so that's why I'm having a hard time with this. I definitely wanted to talk about it because this is why I feel like you're probably going to mark this kid and probably a
Yeah.
lot of stigmas is going to come up about what sex is supposed to be. This is not going to stay in his mind. This is what his first experience is going to be. Probably a lot of men might say, oh, he's going to be good. He's a man now. We don't know that. We don't know how he's going to process this, how he's going to grow
That's the
up.
man ego that
Yeah.
they put up first because I've had many conversations with men that go into memories and realize like, oh wait, I was taken advantage of too. Like they don't realize it at first, but later on. So it's like, no, it did affect you. It did mark you. It's
Yeah.
a memory that did stay with you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. It's like now where we are today, at our age today, and knowing our evolution, right? With the topic of growing up, with the topic of becoming women, with the topic of becoming mothers, and even you as a wife, right? Um, where we are choosing to embrace our beings, our bodies, our sexuality. It's okay to do that. Like it shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't be stigmatized.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of like we still face a little bit of that where it's like, you're not supposed to talk about that. That's
Yeah.
frowned upon.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? Like, oh my God. And that's where I feel where it's like, if we had more of the education side of it, if we had more of seeing something to be beautiful, and it can be beautiful between two people. And at
Hmm.
this point, regardless of what their genders are, between two people, and
Yes.
sometimes accepting that it might be between 3 or 4 people. The point is,
Hey.
I mean, the point is, there can be something beautiful in that, or
Yes.
whatever makes sense. It doesn't have to start so early, and we don't have to do this to our kids.
It
And that
doesn't
is
make you cooler. It doesn't
right,
make them a man.
right.
It just doesn't. It doesn't.
Right, right. And that's why I wanted to open up this month's segments of, I shouldn't say this month's segment, I should say this month's theme in me with the boss moms, hot mamas. Yes, we're working moms. Yes, we are moms with dreams, with passions, with drive. But when we think about being a mom, and that's not to belittle any other role in this world, it's a title that's earned. There's a lot of women I've come across that got that title biologically and they don't live up to it. And I'm
Hmm.
gonna put it up there from personal experience that I've encountered. But it's a title that is earned, and there's a lot that goes to it. And so when we stumble over situations like this, we shouldn't just care about horrible things that happen to our little girls. We should care about horrible things that are happening to our little boys, our young men, and our young women. They both equally matter. Respect goes both
Yes.
ways. And
Yep.
that's what we're trying to teach our kids when we're teaching them about consent, when we're teaching them about safe sex, when we're teaching them about no means no. And even if her eyes are twitching a little bit, then that means she's saying no. So don't
Yeah.
fucking do it,
Hmm.
and I appreciate you so much. Yeah, I got this whole fucking notes and agenda in like matter of minutes and sent it to Shay, and Shay was like, hell yeah, let's talk about
Let's
this.
go. Bring
Because
it.
I needed someone who's gonna be able to say, yep, I've been there. This is what I do. This is how it goes. And I wanted to share that experience with my audience, who's tuning in, to know what it's like for us, and how this shit right here that Boosie did could have been done so fucking differently, to not necessarily and potentially scar these two little boys.
Hmm.
We have a responsibility to society, and I think he just done fucked it up.
It
Um,
did.
so with that being said, any last thoughts on Boozy? Any last thoughts on us being mom boys before I go into the next segment?
It's awesome being a mom boy, but I need a break.
Don't we? Don't we? Don't we? Y'all, if any of y'all are mom boys, and especially between the age of 10 and 15, let us know how you feel, and give us your thoughts too, man. Because we want to know. We want to know.
I'm sending all you boy moms strength right now because we need it right now for
Yeah,
our sanity.
I was on a live. I was on a live today on Instagram. I think in the matter, first of all, Marcus came on the live. People just wanted to talk to Marcus. There was a hashtag going on in my live called hashtag free Marcus, hashtag justice for Marcus. That's how far the shit. That's how far this shit went. Because the other day, I'll just plug this in. He's not here. The other day, I I caught him that he has a best friend. It's a girl, and apparently they fall asleep together on the phone on FaceTime. Yeah, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't. I remember, when I had to sneak in the house phone under my bed when we finally got the cordless one,
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
otherwise it was with a cord. Yes, that's how
Yes.
far.
Yeah, we go to chords. Yes, yes. I
And
remember that.
I had to sneak that shit. I had to sneak it so I could just talk to my boyfriend. Before I was allowed to get a cell phone, I had to sneak it. And
Yeah, no, cell phones didn't come into play until later on.
Jesus, oh my God. And like to see him, I gave him a cell phone finally. I gave in. And to see that I didn't witness anything bad. It was just kind
No,
of
and
like,
it's not. It's innocent.
no, yeah.
It's innocent because I think if I was that age and I had that technology, it would have been innocent just being on the
Yeah.
phone to seeing each other.
Yeah, yeah. But it was real to me. It was real. When I walked into that and I was like, damn, this is starting already. Like
It's
this
a
is
moment.
happening.
It's a moment as a mom. It's a
Yes.
moment. I get
Like
it.
that's my baby. And he's
Hmm.
at some point he's gonna grow up. So that was a moment. Now I wanna lead into my segment of double or nothing. Y'all, Shantae just fucking rubbed her fucking hands together because
Let's
she
go.
knows she knows what I'm gonna bring up on this one. So before I bring up my double or nothing segment and I go into the purpose of the segment is to go on a rant or keep it raw on another dose before I do with what the fuck I want to talk about. Do you have anything you want to rant over? It's a free space, open mic, if at all.
No, not really. I don't
All
think I
right.
need to rant on
All
anything.
right.
I
All
think
right.
I'm pretty good. I'm the only thing is I'm going through it right now because I have a very social life. I
Okay.
was a young mother. I had
Mm.
my nature at 15 years old. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
15, I'm sorry. I was
Girl.
19, which
Right.
scared the shit out of me.
He's 15.
He's
You was
15.
19.
I was 19. Okay, let's take it back. So I was 19, 20. So I chose being a mother,
Mm-hmm.
very hands-on mother. Everything was
Mm-hmm.
about my child in my
Mm-hmm.
20s, my whole
Mm-hmm.
20s. My 30s,
That's a different story.
my kids are bigger now and sitters are available now.
Mm-hmm.
So I have built a very social life in the past probably 4 years. I
Mm-hmm.
miss that shit like really
Yeah.
bad. I
Yeah.
really do miss it, and I'm okay being home, and
Mm.
I'm a homebody too. Um, but I really miss it, and
Yeah.
I need this to get over already because I just need to be around people. I
Mm-hmm.
just need to have conversations. Those are one of my favorite things to do is them late night drunk conversations with people.
Mm-hmm.
You get the real in
Yes.
people.
Yes, yes. We were totally drinking at at that fucking camp, guys. I'm not even gonna lie. We were.
I smoked for the first time there.
There, I
I
remember.
did. So I was a
Wasn't
little
it the
crazy in
night?
that camp.
Wasn't it the night we went camping? Like we actually went camping? Was it
We
that night?
actually went, yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. I will
So that camp, I have
never.
way too many memories with that camp.
Lord.
I started smoking cigarettes, I started smoking weed, and I drank
Hmm.
coffee. Those are my three vices that I had from that camp.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy because that is actually definitely the first time I actually tried weed.
Hmm.
I didn't
Hmm.
continue the smoking until much,
Oh,
much
I continued.
later. I didn't. I should have. I didn't. But I tried it there for the first time. It was actually when we were by the beaver dam. Do you remember the goddamn beaver dam that we were like, what the fuck are these beavers dead or alive? It was like mad
Yes,
hidden. Oh my God.
yes,
It was there.
yes.
That's when it
I
happened for
remember.
me.
Yes.
That's crazy. It was like so many international people also who came to work at the
And that
camp.
was so awesome. I feel like we had like United Nations in there, and we got to
Yes.
really experience and see how they're the same. It's the same thing.
Yes.
It's just in a different language.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I will never forget Emery, the Austrian.
Yes.
He looked like he was fucking soccer player. Do you remember
Yes, right.
him?
He used to wear like the little shorts.
Shorts.
Yes. Yes, I remember. Oh, I
Yo.
remember everybody.
Yes. Yes. It was such a good time. Such a good time. All right.
It
So
was
even
needed in my life at that moment.
mine too. Mine too. There was a significant amount of growth at that
It
prime age
was.
of 16 that I
And I was
needed.
18. I
Yes, that I
just turned
needed to
18.
happen. Yes. That was the summer Shay and I also became choreographers. Um and we created dances for the little girls we were taking care of.
That was so
So yeah,
awesome.
best summer ever. And
Hmm.
I feel you on the social life. I feel you on it. It's ironic, but definitely not ironic. Maybe even a coincidence. How you say, for the last 4 years, you've been able to have a specific type of life. Because I like you, at my 20s, I definitely gave up on a lot. I got married by 20. I had Marcus by 21. I was already on my own, living alone with my partner at 19.
Yeah.
So it's
Same.
kind of like, again, guys, we share so much. It's crazy where our
It
lives
is.
have gone. But even with that, it's like my social life today from 4 years ago, actually, when I started my whole weight loss journey, it's been very unique, very different, to my liking, a combination, a little bit of everything. And it is hard. It is hard to like not be able to just get up and go. Like I do
Mhm.
constantly now think about how is life going to be when we go back to normal? Like, am I seriously going to have to walk around with mask 24/7,
Is that the new norm?
Right,
Right.
because then I'm gonna have to start buying shit that's gonna go with my outfit. So I'm gonna need
Yeah.
different masks to go with my I'm gonna need to make the shit look sexy. Because some of my outfits are just like to the T, guys.
Right.
But there is something that I wanted to, bring a little rant on and keep it a little raw. And this segment I'm gonna title it "Did You Know?" And the reason why I'm gonna title it this is because I'm a little bit upset with myself, Shay. And I'm gonna tell you why. I decided, in this quarantine time, I actually brought them with me to show them. I'm not going to show it to anybody but you. I've spoken of my two babies. One is my newest baby. I call her Rosie. Anybody who listens to episode 10 knows exactly who I'm talking about.
Rosie.
Um, and what can I tell you? So, as you know, and as my listeners know, I am very pro taking care of yourself.
Yep.
And, my body is my body, and who better than me to take care of it and to please it and to know exactly what she wants. And
Mhm.
so I have Blue. Blue has been my, call it a confidant. Blue is always with me at all times.
Okay.
And Blue takes care of business. Blue has been taking care of business for the last 3 years, 2.5 years to 3 years, I think, maybe 3 years.
There's something about
Um,
finding a toy and you just stick with it.
and I stick with
Something
him.
about it.
Oh, I do. I stick. Blue is also waterproof, guys. So yeah, there we go. Uh,
I've rebought a toy that I love so much that just died on me. I don't know. I
really?
killed it and I rebought it. I searched it and I rebought that bitch.
She
And
did.
she's my friend. She's my
You
forever
guys are
friend.
friends.
Yeah, we're best friends for life.
She killed it, guys. What is it? A resuscitation? Is that what we did to it? With a whole new one. So because of the quarantine, I decided Blue needs a little bit of a break. Blue's been to work. I've been
Okay.
working, Blue. Blue has been taking care of me like you have no idea.
It's
Um,
healthy. It's healthy. It's
yes,
good for your heart.
very, very good for your heart. Stress relieving.
It is.
And it puts me in a complete zen. I am in bliss, right? And so I met these pretty awesome girls virtually. They're part of this very strong virtual FBI circle that I have. And two of them recommended a new one for me. And I mentioned it on episode 10.
Okay.
And I named her Rosie, and it is the Satisfier. Okay. I don't know
Right.
if you've seen this one at all.
Yes, I
Yes.
have.
She's like, yes, I
I'm
have.
looking because I actually have something that's similar to it and
Similar.
it's
Got
nearby
it.
me.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. And so listen to what my dumbass did. Okay. I have to admit this, right?
Okay.
My dumbass, of course, for the double or nothing segment, what better way to introduce this shit? I fucking tag teamed myself with Rosie and Blue,
Wow.
okay? Because I had some wine that night
So
and
you decided it was a threesome.
I decided it was a threesome. I said, well,
Okay.
let me see. I could work both of these, right? I could have one, I could have Blue on the right and Rosie on the left. I could do this, right? I underestimated these motherfuckers. First of all, they just met. They just met. Okay. They just met. And you would think they how they gonna work together. Oh, they fucking tag team me. Like fucking Blue did his shit, right? And
And
I
then
was like,
Rosie
and
came.
then Rosie just came and she came center. She came center and she just focused on me, centered. And once again, I was fucking gone in less than 60 seconds. And I couldn't move. I couldn't move.
That's the best.
I have never had an experience like this. Never.
Oh
I'm
wow.
fucking 34 years old and I've never done this. And I don't know if it's because of the model or the make or the brand. I don't know. I have to
Like
dig
it.
a little deeper. If you notice,
Okay.
they fit very well in my hand.
They
Um,
do.
I'm modeling them for Shay so she can see like how perfect they go together.
They are.
Um,
They're perfect
they're just
size.
perfect. They're perfect. And but I was so surprised. I was so shocked at how creative I got at that moment with this tag team championship battle that I had, and I clearly lost. Or maybe I won
Yeah,
because
yeah. You wanted to lose, like
yeah, yeah. I mean, I came out very satisfied from this battle. I really did, and I wanted to just put that shit out there because, again, in my 34 fucking years of life, I've never had an experience like that. And the reason why I wanted to put this shit out there is because I feel like we're still constantly learning our bodies.
yes, 100%.
Like constantly
You're gonna
learning.
like new shit now.
Yes, yes. And I'm still discovering myself. I did not know I had certain points in there.
Okay, so I have a theory. I'm gonna chime in here. I have this theory about us
Talk to
women.
me. Talk to me.
This is my theory. In your 20s,
Mm,
everything's hot and steamy, but you still don't know what you're doing.
mm,
And I feel as a woman, we don't develop sexually until our 30s.
mm,
And I was told this when I was 29, hitting 30, and I had 30-year-old, 30 plus, whatever friends, and they're like, Shay, just wait till your 30s. And I was like, because I was getting to the point like, oh, I'm sad, I'm turning 30. They're like, no, no, Shay, no. 30s is the shit.
shit.
I'm not lying. I swear I turned 30 and life has been the shit
Mm,
sexually. I've learned more about myself since I turned 30 than I have
mm,
ever. So between 30 and 30, I'm 35. So in these 5 years, I have discovered so much. I feel like I was so boring in my 20s
mm,
compared to now.
mm,
And I'm
mm.
still learning. And I've been with my husband forever. And we're still discovering things about each other. And we're still exploring. We're still learning. And I have a new kink every probably weekend that I
Yes,
want to try.
yeah. Yes. Just so y'all know, I've mentioned it in previous episodes. I've never disclosed names. Y'all know I don't incriminate shit. But since she's here,
I'm
those
here.
two friends of mine that I plan to bring, because her husband is my friend. The moment she's my friend,
Yes.
her husband is my friend.
Yes.
Those two little people that I'm gonna bring on for a future episode about a specific little life we talk about often. It's
Our
gonna be them.
pineapple life.
That's right, the pineapple life. Some of y'all, I tried to school y'all on the whole pineapple concept because I learned it from Shay and her husband. And so, I dig pineapples. And we're definitely going to bring this to the table on a future episode. It's in the works.
I'm with it.
I definitely want to bring that rawness out.
Yeah.
Because what was so funny is when my interest started, I did not know that it was something she and her husband were already sharing
Mhm.
together as one. And I felt comfortable to share it with her. And it was
Mhm.
like, yes, babe, like yes. And it was like, oh,
I
I
was like,
think
you're talking to the right person. You came
yes,
the right way.
yes, yes. And I was just so happy that I had someone who to talk to about it because I can't tell you I'm a pro in this. I'm not. But it is definitely something of an interest that I want to always know I have it as an option and I have it there. And it doesn't ever have to be an awkward conversation. And that is my hope of when I find my person.
Mhm.
That is always going to be an open, honest conversation about that I'm going to be able to say yes, let's go do this weekend, like it's
Mhm.
nothing, you know what I mean? So very, very good wisdom words right there about the 20s versus the 30s. I have to
30s is
agree.
where it's at. And then I hear it's even better in your 40s. So
I've
it's something
heard
to look
that.
forward to.
Yes,
Mhm.
I have heard that.
I feel like our bodies change
Mhm,
internally. I feel like things just move around and you
mhm.
learn things and something that probably didn't tickle your pickle per
Yeah, yeah,
se
yeah.
when you were 21 or 22 is a different ballgame. I really, really was. I chose the mom life young. It
Right.
chose me and I chose it. So I was really kind of boring and I didn't put myself and my sexuality and my what I liked. I didn't put that first. I didn't
Mhm,
think about it. And it took till I was, approaching 30 where me and my husband were more open with each other and
mhm.
going out, knowing to stimulate each other. And 30s have been lovely to me.
Yeah, yeah. And I see
Sexually,
that.
ooh, I discovered so much about myself.
Right. And I see that even with you and him. You know, you and him are share so
Because it's a
much.
growth we did together.
Yes, you guys did do it together, and you guys share that. Again, you've allowed me to see this, and
Hmm. I
it's
do a lot. I don't have anybody in
yes,
my life at all.
yes,
I mean, I'm
yes,
open about it if it comes up,
yes.
but I don't let them see certain sides. And I
Mm-hmm.
have opened that door for you. Me and my
Yes,
husband, because then he allows it as well.
yes,
And,
yes,
and so
yes,
you can see where
yes,
we're at.
and
You
it
see, sometimes I'm
definitely.
feeling myself.
Yes, and I love it. That's the thing. Like, they even got me doing a little green
Yes, I
circle
have.
for
I
close
have
friends. I
got
haven't
you.
done it. I haven't done it in a long time, but we've taken advantage a little bit here and there. I'm gonna have to drop one pretty soon this week.
Yeah.
My little green close friend circle on IG. Not everybody's on
Hmm.
that. Sorry for a
That's a
few of
good
you that
one.
are not. If you haven't seen any of my close friend circles and you're interested to see them, hit me up and let me know. I might let you in
Okay.
on this, but I have been feeling more and more comfortable putting it out there. And
Hmm.
listen, it's not about, oh, let me get attention or for clout chase.
No, it's
No,
not.
this is just me. This is just how I
It
feel.
feels good. There's
Yes.
something about it. It's posting something that you felt good taking and
Mm,
then now sharing it with
mm-hmm.
everybody else, whether however they take it.
Right, right, right,
It's
right.
not even about the attention or give me, approval about it. I didn't need anybody's approval. I'm doing it because
Right,
I felt good doing it.
right.
And I
Exactly,
want you to see
exactly.
how good I felt doing it.
Yes, yes. And you were very transparent during one of my lives where I was talking about,
I
it's
was.
good to wear heels on and fishnets. I have a whole fucking collection of fishnets. I ain't even gonna lie. I do. It's sitting right next to my goodie box. And I like doing it. I like dressing
Yeah.
up just for the fucks of it. I do take pictures. I do have a hidden fucking folder in my iPhone with 1,000+ pictures. I do that for myself. I
Yeah.
like looking at myself. I think I
Hmm.
do a pretty fucking good job when I get in my zone and when I dress the fuck up.
I was just gonna say it was something about the zone because my normal life,
Mhm,
I'm not as confident. I'm
mm,
not. I'm so like dominant, worrying about this and that that I don't
mhm,
really care for myself. And
mhm,
then I would think about it. I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that. But then all of a sudden, this switch hits, and that
mhm,
outfit comes on, and
mhm.
that mindset changes. You can see the look in the eye is a different look, a different
It
feeling,
sure
and I
is.
become so confident with myself. Like even
Yeah.
if you see some chichos, oh well, you see
Oh
some
well.
chichos. Oh
Yup.
well.
Yup. I
Oh well.
agree. I
Like I feel
agree.
so confident. It's a different side of me. That's that Gemini
Mhm.
in me, I guess.
Y'all, she's a Gemini. I forgot who I told just this week, but I don't click with too many Geminis. And I think you were my first Gemini female that I
Yeah,
clicked with because I
yeah.
don't think I click with
I'm
too
not the
many.
normal Gemini,
No, you're not.
but I do have some sides of it, which is
Yeah.
that's one of those things that I don't know where this confidence comes from. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it comes from, but it comes, and I'm like, ooh, I
Yeah.
like how I looked there or how I felt at that moment.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And speaking of like, the confidence, right? The daily life. Obviously, I don't walk around on my daily life or my work attire with fishnets. No, let me take that back. I've had worn fishnets a few times. Um, Maybe to the office. Not a full body though. I mean, my full body ones are for me and for whoever gets the pleasure of seeing them. I'm very
With the body
selective.
stockings.
Yes, yes. I'm very selective of who gets to see them. Extremely selective who gets to touch them while it's on me, and extremely, extremely selective who gets to take it off. So, with that being said, speaking of, the who we are to the outside versus who we are from within, right? Speaking of, you not letting everyone in, and even with that, like I haven't necessarily let everyone into that. I think I've only really shared that with one person, and I explained that to you, like how that
Hmm.
situation was. It had a lot to do with my comfort and my trust,
Of course.
and which is great because I felt very comfortable and I felt all the trust in that situation. um I came across a post, and I shared it with you. I showed
Yes.
it to you, and I want to put it out here, on this double or nothing segment, where, of course, it's a raw rant. And this is not really a rant, but it is to keep it even more rawness. There is an Instagram page I follow the person who I felt comfortable sharing certain aspects of this actually forwarded this to me because, he understands my interest in this stuff and the education side of it. And so the page is High Snobiety. I'm going to link it to the show description. And it was a post about a fetish artist, a Japanese cult fetish artist. I'm going to butcher his name. I'm so sorry, Japanese
I
gods.
was trying to say his name before and I couldn't get it.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry, Japanese gods. I know he's up there somewhere because apparently he has recently passed away. Namio Harukawa, that's the name I can see here. And apparently he has passed away, but he is known as a fetish artist. That is his pseudonym. And the announcement was made by a video game producer, and he apparently began his career in the 60s. Worked as an illustrator for pornographic magazines. And in the early 70s, his work for magazine Kitan Club gained him notoriety among the S&M enthusiasts. And so it wasn't until the end of the 90s that his artwork began to achieve international recognition. And so I'm going to link the page itself, and I'm going to really try to link the post so you guys can see this amazing artwork. But what it is, it's beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 5 pictures, and it is artwork based on the third one says his striking depictions of enormous face-sitting femdoms dominating and humiliating their diminutive male slaves caught the attention of many. And the fourth picture, there's a quote by Madonna, who was one of the celebrities who had lots of interest in this. Knowledge is power. This is art. One of my favorites. And it is once again a woman sitting on a man's face. And so the reason why I love this is because, y'all might laugh or find it funny, but I take fucking pride when I do my fucking squats and my fucking squat game, and especially during my fucking sumo squats. Reason being, I work hard for my fucking thighs to be as strong as they fucking are. So I can do shit like this. It's not easy work. So I can do shit like this because this is definitely one of those fetishes that I absolutely love to engage in. It's one of those fetishes, again, it's a comfort level for me. I would not necessarily just go around doing it with just anybody. But it is one of the fetishes that I do enjoy. It's a fetish that I feel powerful. I feel extremely powerful to be able to express myself in that way. And yeah, while I'm fucking wearing a fucking fishnet completely open at the goddamn bottom in my goddamn heels. So I wanted to just rant that out real quick because, again, there's just so much. And it's not about, making a man a slave. Absolutely not. That's not what it's about. There's just so much to this. I call it art. There's just so much to being able to express yourself. And I love that you said about, especially for you being a marriage, you being a couple, and how you're both able to do this together. I can only imagine how much of the communication it takes, how much of the honesty it takes between the two of you, transparency. And this is stuff that I'm not going to dish out right now with her because the day I do, it's going to be with her husband here. And he's going to
take over the podcast. He's going to take over. He's going to tell you all. He's going to give it to you all.
I love it. But that's what I want to bring out because a lot of people still look at it as, oof, I don't know, and I think it just has to do with communication. What are your limits?
It's not for the faint of heart, though.
Right.
Let's say that. It does take people in general, male, woman, whatever. It does take special people that have to be open-minded and understand in a marriage, in a couple, a boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter. You're one, he's one. Let's bring it together and let's figure it out. Yeah. And if you plan on having the life together, you have to make it fun.
Yes.
When my boys leave, I'm stuck with him. Exactly. It's just me and my husband. So let's make a good life out of this.
Exactly. And I just want to add to that no matter what kink of the week she's on, no matter what fishnet I've worn or how many times I tag team myself with Rosie or Blue, regardless of what their social life looks like as a couple, it does not take away on the motherhood that we possess and we embrace and we show for y'all. I see you as an absolute amazing mother. I see everything Gabe puts out there
I
on
love
how,
you.
you are as a wife. And let me be honest about something. They're not the type that just put it out there like everything is fucking perfect.
Oh
No.
no.
When they want to come for each other, they come for each other. And we gonna know.
I'm usually the comer.
Yeah, you're usually a comer. She usually is. But I just love that transparency from you guys.
Yeah.
And I love how you are able to be all the woman that you are as a boss mom, hot mamas, to your kids, to your family, to your entire unit. And this is the type of shit, this is the type of raw talk I wanted to bring to the table and start up that theme for this month, who I'm hoping to bring and have lined up. Everybody has different insight to offer
Yeah.
to our audience. I say our audience because we are in our 30s. And we are women. And, I've heard and I've been told there are some men who listen to my show and they find it very insightful. They have learned a few things
If
too.
they listen, it would be, right? It really would be. You can tap into us and get
Yes.
a little bit of it. Get a
Yes.
little understanding to our crazy.
Yes. And we don't have to, listen, just because we're moms or just because we were moms at a young age doesn't mean we have to be boring. Doesn't mean life
No.
stops. There's so much to live for. I see it. You guys have gone on your vacations. You guys go on your date nights. You guys do all of that and you still do your job as a mama,
It's important.
So.
It's important to have a Saturday night. That's all I asked for. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
need. I can do everything that everybody needs, Monday through Friday, Sunday, whatever the case is. Just give me my Saturday night.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's my decompress.
Yeah.
That's where my other side of me, as my husband would say, that's side chick Saturday.
Yes, he does
Because
say that.
I come out of that mom and wife role. I
Yes.
do, and we go back into like what started us. What was the excitement from the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's funny that we say side chick,
Yeah.
but it's because it's the other side of me.
Yeah. She's too. She's a Gemini.
Yeah, see, side chick
There's
Saturday.
Shantae and then there's
There's Shantae, there's
Shay.
Shay. It really is.
Yeah.
And then there's other ones, but other parts of me too. I'm just
Y'all gotta see.
learning that bitch.
Y'all gotta see my face because I don't think I've ever shared with a single human being that has laid a finger on me what I call my fucking puss, right? And I had actually mentioned it on episode 10. I named her Sin. That's her
there,
name.
there you go.
I do. There's a story behind it. I don't know if I'm ready to share that. Um,
That's for the next one.
yes. Her name is Sin. That I might disclose the story when I have both of y'all on the show. Who knows?
There you
But
go.
yeah, this is exactly how I wanted to start off and kick off this theme. We as women, we as mamas, we have so much to offer. There's so much that we can give. There's so much we can learn from each other. There is so much that we can do for one another. Where the concept is, life doesn't stop. Life
It
goes
doesn't.
on. Make it fun. Live it up. I'm gonna close this out with something that I came across, and it was on Mother's Day. One of my besties posted a picture of her and I, Nicole, and she wrote a little quote. And basically, what she said is, I'm the person who taught her that you just have to be strong. And I was very honored by that because I do really wholeheartedly believe that. And so if my voice, if my experience could ever leave anything for anybody, even if I don't know exactly when I made her believe that and she understood that and she is a mom to a toddler. But I'm honored that she has learned that from me and she put it out there because ironically enough, I've learned so much about her as a mom too. For me to apply to myself. And at the same token, this is the purpose of this show. The purpose of the show is if I could leave anything for you, whether it's from me or my amazing fucking guests, as you guys can see, hear, not see, is that there is more to life, y'all. And
There
it's
is.
okay. It's a safe space. Is keep it to your rawness. Whatever your rawness is, keep it to you. To my women, to my boss moms, hot mamas, don't hold yourselves back. Embrace yourselves. Live it up. It doesn't stop with your kids. It doesn't stop because you have a whole unit. You were once a female, a woman first. And there's a way to still live up to that and do everything else. Shai, I thank you so much for coming on this episode.
This was needed, and I'm so
Yes,
honored that you asked me to come on because I really wanted to. I was
yes,
waiting. I
yes.
was waiting. I was sitting there waiting.
She was. She's been waiting for such a long time. And when I saw this whole Boosie shit, I was like, damn, like I need this. I need it ASAP. I do. I appreciate you coming on. She will be back, guys. Like I said, it will be her unit,
My units.
her
Me and my
partner.
better half.
That's right. And we're going to dig a little deeper on the little bit of an insight she gave you today. This is a long time coming. Hopefully when this pandemic is over, I'm going to be able to see her. I promise. This time we really have to see each
Yeah,
other.
no, seriously.
This shit
Seriously.
has to
Like,
stop.
it has to. It can't be
Like,
no more like, yes, yeah. No, we
no,
are. That's it.
That's it. And we're probably going to cry like fucking babies.
We
We're
are.
probably going to record this shit.
Yes.
And I'll post it somewhere. But again, I thank you so much for coming to my platform, for sharing this conversation with me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I love you to death, and you know that.
And I love you more.
And I'm just so happy I found her, guys. And we've kept each other. And to see this many years later, we just still have so much in fucking common that we can share.
So now it makes total sense why we was totally drawn to each other.
Yes,
at
absolutely.
The minute that we met each other.
Absolutely. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to another week and another episode of Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. I am your host, Miss D, and I will tune in with you guys next week. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. And remember, if you are ready to launch your podcast or rebrand your current podcast, this is the time. Go to my show description, Idea to Launch Academy. There is a link right there for my code. Use it and get going. This is your moment. This is your chance. Go and start that podcast within 30 days. See you next week.